Hey there LEGO fans, welcome back. Alex here. In this video, we are going to be doing a review of the new LEGO Ninjago City Workshops. This is set number 71837, contains 3,244 pieces, and will retail for $250 US. You'll be able to purchase this as of March 1st. Now, this is the 5th entry in the Ninjago City modular line. These began back in 2017 when LEGO released Ninjago City. Since then, we've got the docks, the gardens, the markets, and now we have the workshops. Now, of these 5 designs, this one is going to be the smallest in piece count, but this also translates into a relatively low price tag. Now, $250 is a far cry from the $370 behemoth Ninjago City markets, which boasted 6,163 pieces and is actually the 9th largest LEGO set ever to be produced as of the making of this video. So what about the workshops? How does it compare, and is it a worthy entry into the Ninjago City modular line? Well, let's find out. We'll start with the instructions. There are 2 books. I was happy to see here that at the beginning, we have a description of what is all included in the workshops. Now, for someone who is not very familiar with the show, but does enjoy these sets, this can be very helpful. On the other side of the page, we have a translation of all of the letters and numbers. This can be a fun activity for builders to figure out the signage used throughout the build. Now, the build experience with this was very much in line with its predecessors. There's going to be a lot of detail in these, and as such, it utilizes a lot of small and unique elements to bring us this very detailed and industrious look. While I did enjoy the build, one thing that is a big hitter with these sets is the stickers. There are a lot. While I'm not a fan of the heavy use of stickers, they do create that busy look with just about every flat surface and wall that you see here covered in some sort of sign or advertisement. There are 10 minifigures included in this set, which unfortunately is on the low end when compared to the other sets in this series. We were averaging 19 minifigures per set before workshops, but generally speaking, 10 minifigures at this price point isn't bad. The minifigures here will include Zane, Pixel, a casual Hurami, which I know LEGO Ninjago fans are going to be very happy to see, Dorama, Dr. Leroux, Twitchy Tim, a model shop owner, a workshop mechanic, a restaurant worker, and a Dragonian tourist kind of hanging out in normal casual clothes. We also get Dorama's puppet, which is quite posable as well. Now, 6 of the minifigures have reversible faces for that added playability. Now let's take a look at the build. LEGO seems to be moving away from the modular approach with workshops, as they no longer allow a way for you to just simply remove a roof or even entire floors to view the interiors. Instead, LEGO has gone full in on these slide outs, which have been used before, but now it seems they are the only way we can view the interior. Now, personally, I am not a fan of this, as it can make it difficult to view the interior if this is next to another building. But it's not like I'm opening these things up all the time, but let me know what you think in the comments. The main focus of this appears to be this large mech, but we'll get into him a little bit later. I want to start here on the ground level, which is where we have the actual workshop. I love this curved garage door here and the simplicity of how it opens and closes using this knob here at the end. Now inside we see a part of the mech being worked on with other tools and objects kind of laying around. Across from the workshop, we have the ramen shop, and this slides out nicely to view the other side of the counter. I guess these slide outs do make it easier to place your minifigures in these tight spaces. On the outside, there is a Fabuland preference. That's kind of a cool little Easter egg there. I'm also a fan of how they created this ramen bowl with what looks to be ramen being held by chopstick, which is a very clever technique used here. On the next level here above the workshops, we have Zane's apartment, and we see a small but cozy layout. I especially love these banners here on the wall. If we peek inside, we also see some pictures hung on his wall. Now, to help get a better view of this mech storage area, I did remove the top level. It seems to come off pretty easy, but it is not intended to be removed. Just keep that in mind. Now, with that out of the way, we can get a better view of the little warehouse, which appears to store those extra parts for the mech. But what's neat about this area is this working crane. It can be moved back and forth using this lever, and the hook can be moved up and down. I really like the build of this mechanism. It lowers the equipment to the ground level just fine, but it does need your help when adding or retrieving items inside the warehouse. On the top level, we have Dorama's Magic Shop. Now, this space has some interesting trinkets and items. We also see a drawer left open with a coin inside. I especially love the flower coming out of the hat. Now, when we look inside, we see some closed curtains here along the wall, inciting some curiosity. Now, across from the magic shop is the model shop. I really like the face and the hand with this peace sign here just outside the shop. It's little things like that that really make these builds a lot of fun. Now, again, to access the interior, we pull the wall and out comes the interior. I really actually like this room as we see some Ninjago mechs here for sale on the shelf, but the minifig sized mech here is definitely going to be the star. And finally, here at the top, we have this very large crane. This is used to hoist our mech into position. It has 3 controls, one knob to swing it around, one knob to increase the angle of the boom, and one knob to raise or lower. Now the boom extends a little bit, but there's no knob for that. That is more of a manual process for you. When the crane lowers our mech onto the platform, the mech's heels can be locked into place, making it nice and sturdy here on the platform. We can then move the entire platform the mech stands on by turning this gear here at the front of the build. Now I think this is so cool because as it connects to the walkway, small steps slide out for the convenience of our workers, and I think that is super neat. Now what about the mech? At its core, it seems pretty dull, right? Well, lucky for us, we have all of the optional extras available to make this mech look shiny and menacing. We can grab all of these mech pieces that seem to be scattered all over the lower sections and get them placed on our mech. There, that's better. Now we're ready to rock or destroy or whatever mechs do. Now to summarize, I was quite excited when I saw this new Ninjago set because I really enjoy how these large builds look in my own LEGO city. However, I will say that if I ranked these 5 Ninjago City builds, this one would likely fall to the bottom. That's not to say that this is a bad set. On the contrary, this is a very worthy entry into the series. It just has the misfortune of following in some very big footsteps. So that is a quick look at the new Ninjago City Workshops. A big thanks to the LEGO Group for providing me this early copy for review. Now, normally I'd rush downstairs and show you guys where this is going to be placed in my city. However, this has been quite the challenge as there's not quite enough space for it to fit where I want it to go. So I'm going to have to work on that for a little while and give you an update on that when the time comes. However, I don't want to end the video here, so let's take you downstairs and kind of see how it looks next to some of the other Ninjago City modulars. We made our way downstairs, and here is Ninjago City in my layout, and as you can see, it is filled to the brim. Not a lot of space to expand. It goes right to the edge of the table here. Now, I love Ninjago City in my layout. I love it. It looks fantastic. At least I think it does anyway. But as you can see, there's just really no place else for another one of these to go, unless I expand this way. And I just don't really want to do that. So this is going to be another video in the future, a future Alex problem to resolve. But for now, like I said, let's go ahead and take a look how each of those looks connected to the workshop and see if there's a preference that we can find and a better flow when it comes to how these connect. We'll start with all the corner buildings, Ninjago City right here next to it. All of the walkways line up really nicely, as you can see here. And the upper walkway here transitions with those stairs really nicely. And right back down again with Ninjago City Gardens. I will say with Gardens that it has these balconies that are supposed to be attached to it because you would have the option of putting this in between it. But if not, you have to take them out if they're going to be flat up against each other. So just kind of keep that in mind there. The crane at the top, I don't know if I like it next to another tower. We'll have to see if it looks any better with the docks. Here's a quick look at that thing between the two builds. Not a fan of it because it's just so darn short and it creates these little cliffs on the walkway. Yeah, this is my own modification, so just disregard that. But yeah, this is why I actually put this elsewhere in my city. Here's a look from the back. No connections here to this walkway at the top level, but as you can see here at the bottom level, people can get by just fine. I've got them reversed now, so let's take a look and see if we like this any better or not. I really can't tell if it's any better or not. I will say, though, that these walkways protrude by one stud on either side. I thought that was interesting. And I don't think that this crane should be this close to your sushi restaurant. But yeah, like I said before, when you back out, it all kind of blends together and it's not so bad. Here's a quick look at the back. Not sure if I like having the noodle shop that close to the elevator, but that's where it lines up. Next, we're going to have docks and markets. So markets, as you see here next to it, I think is designed mostly to be next to it because, well, it's marketed on the box as such, right? But I don't like that gap right there. It is a pretty good sized gap, not a fan of. But other than that, it looks pretty good. Even the crane looks like it would clear that cherry blossom tree at the top there. We have the noodle shop that's back to back with the baker in the markets, which is pretty cool. Walkways look good. We transition over here to the docks. You're going to have a dead end right here, of course, because, well, it's the docks, but that looks good too. And it's tall. I mean, these bad boys right here are pretty darn tall, but when you remove them from the equation, well, Workshops is the king of the town. Here's a quick look from the back. I don't like this sticking out so much, but I do like how these sidewalks at the base transition very well. That's a clean look. So one more look here. We have the docks. I don't know if this looks that awesome. I will say that the crane has a lot of clearance now next to the docks on that side. Again, walkways connect just fine. But over here, guys, with the markets, again, wow. I can't even tell where it splits. That looks really good. This thing was definitely meant to be connected to it. Look at Zane's apartment. Look how it's tucked away. I think that looks so good. The walkways look good. Man, that is, and even up here at the top, the roofs are the same height. That looks good. Marcus is just the best one, guys. There's just no doubt about it. That looks good. Let me see if I can get kind of a corner shot here as well with those two. But yeah, Docks is okay. Docks is always going to be the awkward one, right? Because of its size and relatively short stature. But man, yeah, Markets, yeah, that looks really good. And really quick, let's take a look at the back. I will say this about the connection, and we have this open obviously, but I wish there was a way that connected. I mean, you could modify that so that the stairs connect with that walkway, but that's something I noticed there when I connected them. But other than that, looks pretty good. That is going to wrap it up for this review and comparison of the new Ninjago City Workshops. Let me know what you guys think about this new set. Are you going to be picking this thing up on day one eventually, or perhaps not at all? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.